Right, welcome to this review for the Imperial Knights Codex. Games Workshop very kindly have sent me a copy along. So in this video I plan to do a full review of the Codex, so I'll cover all of the different units that are available. Not too many, but it has been expanded now. Exciting stuff for those that run pure Imperial Knight armies. And there'll be things like war traits, stratagems to cover, relics and so on. Which is great. Any variety that can be added to these, because they are sort of a couple of units that are available, so any variety that can be added in will surely be a great thing. So as I said, Games Workshop sent me a copy along. Usually I get my Games Workshop stuff from gamingfigures.com, so you can check them out. That's gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop at a discounted rate, along with other gaming systems as well, so you can check them out. So not too big a codex, sort of similar size to the Harlequin codex that I reviewed recently. So, famous bit of artwork there for the Imperial Knights. I'm sort of moving along with an army for these already. I have an Imperial Knight painted up, been using him. He's been fighting alongside my Admech. If you check out those games, you'll see him fighting there, and occasionally some alliances with other Imperial factions as well. And then I've got two of the Armiger Wargames from the Forgebane set. I've got two of those, started work on them, so there's two of those to add to the army as well. And then Games Workshop has sent me a copy of the Knight Valiant model as well. Now if I paint all them up, it's half an army there, so it looks like I'm heading towards getting an Imperial Knight force that can fight by itself, which is great. It's a unique experience fighting against Imperial Knights. If you play against someone that just has pure Imperial Knights and you bring your regular army and they've got 5 Imperial Knights, 4 or 5 Imperial Knights, it's a challenge and it's a unique game for sure. But I look forward to, I haven't played anyone yet with pure Imperial Knights, but look forward to the day of the challenge of taking them on. So artwork here, we'll see that in full colour a bit later. I think, yeah, this is the new this is the new Knight Valiant just here. So yeah, I say this in the Codex review, just like a colour palette here, showing you what kind of colours to go for when you're painting your Imperial Knights up. So it's all kind of heraldry type colours here, black and yellow. If you look into the heraldry of, like, you know, jousting knights and so on, it is this kind of chevrons, black and yellow, the blue and the gold, checkered patterns and so on, just block patterns of colours clashing with each other. It's very sort of feudal knight, and it matches in with the whole theme of Imperial Knights, that kind of feudalistic gallant knights and so on, and all the heraldry that's involved. So that's how you'd want to paint them up, sort of a heraldry and pattern, and a very sort of striking design. Then, but you choose your household here. I think James is going to go after these ones here. House Terran, I think this one here. Yeah, no, this is interesting. There's some different configurations going on here. I wasn't aware of this. This is new stuff going on here. Down in the corner, just flick forwards to see what's going on here, because I've not kept up entirely. There's the new. It is a beast. It's big. It must be slightly bigger than Imperial Knight. Yeah, here it is. An Armiger Helverin with the auto cannons. Interesting. It's some more variety being added here. Fascinating. We'll come to these entries later on, but the Games Workshop are adding more and more variety to these. Yeah, this is very good. So here's the artwork here that we saw on the inside front cover. It does look glorious painted up in these colours here. The blue and the gold does look great, so I hope James gets on with painting his up. Warriors of the Noble Houses, this whole medieval knight sort of style, fighting against the Tower. The Omniscience Boon. Night Worlds of the Imperium. Just covering all the background information here. Quest Imperialis Worlds, Quest Mechanicus Worlds, Knights at War. So, well, they've lined them up slightly bigger. I would have liked if this one here was just a bit bigger, just to mark it out different. If this was say 2 inches taller than the regular Imperial Knight, so it was sort of maybe head and shoulders above. I just would have liked would have been a sort of a natural scale up. There's not too much difference here between these two. Codex is going to be very, very helpful for you for all of your markings here. So showing you how to put all your transfers on, really, really helpful. So this is all good stuff. So House Terran here, this is what James is. It's one of my favourites, very close to going for this colour scheme. I went with sort of the Admech style of House Raven, but I was very close to painting these. I just think these look the best painted up in this colour scheme. But James is hoping to paint his up in that colour scheme. Yeah, they look fantastic. Looks incredible. So Balthazar, yeah, ever stalwart. So they've got named ones, so you can copy this exactly and you can have a named Imperial Knight in your army. Fantastic here. House Cadmus, the green. House Griffith. Hawk Shroud, the yellow, very striking. I suppose you would research your background for these to see who they match up well for, you know, if you're trying to choose a household to match up with one of the armies that you have. Say you're collecting Blood Angels or a certain regiment from the Astra Militarum or Ultramarines, and then you read through here, check out which of these households would suit best if you want to go by the fluff as much as possible. House Morton, Questa Mechanicus, so the heraldry markings here, such a helpful resource this. House Raven, this is the household that I've gone for. It's there, he is painted up in that colour scheme. I'd maybe try and put in more chevrons here, like I have in my current Imperial Knight. Mine's painted up a bit like this. I just think it looks fantastic, looks really good. Here he is, yeah, great. This is one I've copied here, pretty much exactly. It's the Greven Ferrus Maximus of House Raven. That's the colour scheme that I went for that one. Yeah, really good. House of Volker, interesting. House Tyrannus, House Crest. And the Freeblades here as well, so you've got your license to paint yours up how you wish. Yeah, strange, look at that. On adamant thrones, manifest vengeance with the hexagonal purple, mauve and pastel green pattern on top. Very striking for sure. It's for dark green here, called the Green Knight. Warwick, the White Warden. So, like, tons of help there, loads and loads of help, great resource to have. This is your timeline here, the Imperial Knights, here they are fighting against the Tau. So Armiger Warglaves, and then Armiger Helverins here as well, interesting. Knights Errants, Paladin, Warden, Gallant, that's the different configurations. Knights Crusader, fantastic piece of artwork. Very atmospheric, beautiful, very nice. Again, Household Terran, again, very nice. Knights Preceptor, Canis Rex, the Chainbreaker. Wow. Knights Castellan, Knights Valiant. Amazing. Yeah, there is some nice configurations you can go for here. So it's the best time ever to go for Imperial Knights. Plenty of variety, and some great options and some amazing models for sure. It's just got so much more weaponry, tons of firepower. Great photographs here, fights alongside the Blood Angels, or the Death Company just there. And now some of the models, you know, the artwork's great, but to see the models painted up gives you an even better idea of how they'll look once you've painted them up. Yeah, there's some fantastic photography here. So yeah, it's giving you an idea of how detachment can work. Wow, look at that. Canis Rex, the Chainbreaker. That is a very, very cool Imperial Knight. That's a beautiful colour scheme. And this is interesting because I think that Sir Hector dismounted and clad in his half-armoured body glove. Whoa. Oh, and there he is inside, enthroned within his raised pilot's compartment, and he's got a knight's helmet on. That is an amazing looking model. That is brilliant. Canis Rex. Now, what's interesting here, there's enough colour on this. What's difficult is if you go for metallics, sometimes the metallics just dominate too much, there's not enough colour, but here there's enough colour added in to balance it out, and then plus some black as well has been added in, and that makes all the difference. But this would be quite quick to paint. Spray them silver, and then the gold goes on nice and quick, and some washes and some shades, and you've made very quick progress. That's a beautiful colour scheme, that one. And the helmet looks fantastic. Very medieval, looks absolutely brilliant. That is very, very impressive. Very impressed by him. And how would I try and squeeze him into my armour? That's the problem. Because if he's a character, Canis Rex, then you've got to go for this colour scheme. So visually, he would look great fighting alongside Grey Knights. So the Grey Knights, one of the factions that aren't doing too well, and you could add in an ally, an Imperial Knight here, Canis Rex, to help them out. Nice, very, very nice. He looks a bit limited though, but no, we'll see, have to see. Okay, so that's an idea of detachment. And again here, a bigger army. So a spread of the units here, the main ones being Imperial Knights. There, Knight Valiant added in, a couple of the Warglaives as well. Okay, so very good stuff here. Knightly Host. So it's talking about your keywords here. And you have to choose their allegiance, which we'll cover later on. Then it's just talking about households here. You swap in your keywords there, choose your household, and you swap that in. Yeah, Imperial Knights Wargear list. Okay, carapace weapons. Right, that's the attachment you can add on top. Yeah, I usually go for the Storm Spear rocket pod. So, one of the newer configurations first of all, then the Armiger Helverin here. Units cost. So, the base cost is 170 points. You can take them in Lord of War here, power level 9. You can take them in units of 1 to 3. So they are swift enough. 14-inch move, so nice and quick. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+. Strength 6, toughness 7, tough as a main battle tank. 12 wounds, so it's resilient there as a main battle tank. 4 attacks, which is pretty good. Leadership 8 and a free up save. So each Armiger Helverin is equipped with 2 Armiger autocannons and a heavy stubber. So the heavy stubber is 4 points, and then the Armiger autocannons is 0. Interesting. Oh, 2 Armiger autocannons. Yeah. So you're looking at 174 points. It's cheap enough. No close combat ability really is the downside. There's no real feet attack. No, so this is a shooting unit here. So the Armiger autocannon, oh, it's good though. Range 60. Heavy 2d3, So you're going to get between 2 and 6 shots per weapon. 2 Armiger autocannons. Yep. Yes, so one of those autocannons is 2d3 shots a time. So here it's 4d3. So between 4 and 12 shots you're going to get. So it's a lot of firepower. Strength 7. So force to win most vehicles. AP -1, so not as powerful, but that's your sort of autocannon, what to expect from an autocannon as usual. The damage is 3, not 2, so that is very significant. And then ignore the penalty to hit rolls for moving and firing this heavy weapon. Oh, fantastic, very nice. So their long range firepower support is excellent. That's an excellent configuration and a very, very cheap unit. Cool. Excellent fire support from these things. Yeah, it's fantastic range, excellent rate of firepower. Yes, it's only AP -1, but then you're going to plaster the opponent with enough shots. Say you're hitting a main battle tank, usual save 3 plus 4 up saves, half a chance your opponent's going to fail the save there, and every time it's failed, it's solid 3 damage every time. So very, very effective piece of equipment there. You may replace the heavy stub with a melted gun. I probably wouldn't bother. I have to keep them way back, just providing long range firepower, and that's their job. So excellent. Yeah, really good. So Iron Shield does have a 5+ invuln save, so try and get them in cover, obscured in cover, give them a 2-up save, 5-up invuln, nicely protected, plenty of wounds. Really good. They explode, and their squadron, they become separate units once you've deployed. Excellent. So that is an excellent unit. The weapon configuration there is fantastic. And very cheap. Surprisingly cheap. So the Armiger Warglaive, I've got a feeling I'd choose these over these. Interesting. So Armiger Warglaive is next. Power level 9. Interesting to do a points comparison here. So 160, it starts off cheaper. You can go for the same squadrons here, up to between 1 and 3 of them. Each Armiger Warglaive is equipped with a Reaper Chain Cleaver, Thermal Spear and Heavy Stubbers. Heavy Stubbers is going to be 4 points. The Reaper Chain Cleaver is 0. And then the Thermal Spear is 0. Oh. Yeah, this is cheap here. This is interesting. Yeah, no, I thought it was more expensive. Just going by the Forgebane book here, they start off with 223 points, plus your heavy stubber. All the other upgrades are 0. So 223 points, and now all of a sudden it's 160. So a complete crash in the points cost for these. So all of a sudden you could field a lot of these. See, I was it's a pretty even split between the two. Excellent firepower here. It's the same stat line. And then the Thermal Spear then, it's pretty good, range 30. So this is one where you're going to try and close down the range. Range 30, assault D3, so you can get between 1 and 3 shots. There's not as many shots coming through from that. But when they do hit, strength 8 minus 4d6 damage. If you get to in half range, which is going to be 15 inches, it's roll 2 dice, and you're choosing the best. Or discarding the lowest, whichever way around. The Reaper Chain Cleaver, you got 2 options when you hit with it. You can strike, which is times 2 strengths, you've got a strength of 12, AP minus 3 and 3 damage. And you can sweep, which is strength to user, which is strength 6, AP minus 2 and 1 damage, but it's 2 hit rolls for every attack, which is 8 attacks for trying to deal with hordes and infantry and so on. And the same rules here, does have the invuln save. Out of these two, I would say the Helverin is better. I can imagine them being a real bane for the opponent. Imagine a squadron of 3 of them. The amount of firepower coming out from those would be crazy, and the opponent's got to work through 3 lots of 12 wounds with invuln saves and toughness 7. And it's not going to cost you too much to field a unit of those, about 500 odd points. Yeah, incredible. So the Helverin's excellent. Armiger Wargames, great. These are both bargains now. They're excellent for their points costs. So expect these to be popular. Fantastic. Okay. So a Knight Preceptor is next. So it's a new configuration here. So just cover the stats first of all. Movement 12. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+, strength 8, toughness 8, 24 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, 3 up saves. So it's usual Imperial Knights stat line. But it's armed with Reaper Chainsword, a Las Impulsor, and then Heavy Stubber and Titanic Feet. So a new weapon here that you can take here for the Preceptor. So 23 power level for him. Reaper Chainsword should be free of charge. Nope, it's 30. So you have to add that on. And he is 385 points to start off with, so he pushed over 400 with the Chainsword, and then the Lazim Impulsor here is 0. Okay, so you're not paying for that. So it's quite a cheap option actually. Not too bad. So Heavy Stubber here, if I haven't covered it already, it's range 36, it's one of the standard Imperial weapons. Heavy 3, strength 4, AP 0 and 1 damage. Las Impulsor then, you choose one of the profiles. Low intensity is... That's an excellent weapon. That's another good weapon here. So low intensity, range 36. Heavy 2d6, so you're between 2 and 12 shots, so about 6 or 7 shots on average. Strength 6, -2 and d3 damage. Excellent for clearing away heavy infantry. Really, really good. And then high intensity, range 18, you do need to get closer. It's heavy d6, so between 1 and 6 shots. Strength 12, -4 and d6 damage. It's a nasty weapon. Killer tank. If you roll well enough, get enough hits and wounds, destroy a tank in 1 round of shooting from just that weapon. The melter gun's available. Multi-laser. The Reaper Chainsword, +6 strength, so strength 14. So you're on 2s to win most main battle tanks at toughness 7. AP -3 and 6 damage. It's just trying to get those hits. You only got 4 attacks, 4 chances to get your hits. Titanic Feet's an option as well. Strength for the user, which is strength 8, -2 d3 damage. And it's 3 attacks for every... Make 3 hit rolls for each attack made with this weapon. So a potential of 12 attacks, yeah, with the feet. 5+ Invuln save as normal with the Iron Shield. It explodes as well. Mentor, reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly household Armiger class units within 6 of this model. Wow. Cool. So just reroll hit rolls. So that's a great help, that. I really amplify the firepower of these guys. Nice. And would help with their firepower as well. It's hit rolls. Yeah, so it'll even help in close combat as well to make them more reliable. And that can help, you know, with only 4 attacks you want as many hits as possible from that. Next is the Knight Paladin, one of the classic configurations here. It was actually that photograph that almost tipped me to paint up the Knight Paladin for House Tone. It just looks amazing. Beautifully painted model, that one. Fantastic colour scheme. So the Paladin, power level 23, same stat line as the Preceptor, exactly the same. Damage bracket, by the way, movement 12, then drop to down to between 7 and 12 wounds. Movement drops to 9 inches, 4 up weapon skill and ballistic skill, and then between 1 and 6 wounds left. So 3/4 dead. 6-inch move, 5 up to hit, 4 weapon skill and ballistic skill. It's armed with Reaper Chainsword, it's going to be 30 points. The Paladin itself is 285. Okay. You then have a rapid fire battle cannon and 2 heavy stubbers and Titanic Feet. 2 heavy stubbers are going to be 8 points. And the rapid fire battle cannon is 100 points for him. So the rapid fire battle cannon, range 72, heavy 2d6, so again between 2 and 12 shots, that's 6 or 7. Strength 8 -2 and d3 damage, pretty good. But deadly weapon against things like unprotected Tau battle suits and so on. A perfect kind of target for that. So you can go for the Thunderstrike Gauntlet, which is a melee weapon. It's ×2 strength. We fight at strength 16, so you can do 2s to win pretty much everything. AP -4 and 6 damage. When attacking with this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll. Not so good. You've only got 4 attacks. If a vehicle or monster is slain by this weapon, pick an enemy unit with a 9 of the bear and roll a d6. On a 4+, it suffers d3 mortal wounds. Okay. Thunderstrike Gauntlet, 35. Pay an extra 5 points for those slight enhancements. I probably wouldn't bother to stick with a chainsaw. So you can add on carapace weapons. We didn't cover it here, but carapace weapons are available for the Preceptor as well. So we'll cover these now. The Iron Storm missile pod is first. So these are configurations of weapons that you can add on top part of the knight, right up here, or on the regular Imperial knight up here, just there. Don't have to, it's just extras you can add on. I think it's worth it taking an extra system, just another option to have. You've paid out all those points for the unit, you may as well add in the extra firepower. So it's the Iron Storm first, and that will cost 16 points. It's not too expensive. Range 72, heavy d6, strength 5, -1, 2 damage. This weapon can target units that are not visible to the bearer. Okay, so it's an interesting weapon. I usually go for the Storm Spear Rocket Pod, which is more expensive. It's 45 points, a lot more points. But it is here. Range 48, heavy 3, she guaranteed those 3 shots. Strength 8, -2, and d6 damage. A number of times you get a couple of hits of them, some wounds come through, and all of a sudden a target's in trouble, taking multiple d6 damage. So it's a helpful enough weapon to have, no doubts, or no regrets adding him onto my Imperial Knight. Twin Icarus autocannons. Range 48, heavy 4, strength 7, -1, 2 damage, +1 to hit rolls against targets that can fly, -1 against all other targets. Now I chose the Storm Spear Rocket Pod just for the regular firepower. It's guaranteed you can get 3 shots, and then if you do get those hits, the damage can be pretty horrific. So we're looking for the autocannon here. Yeah, 30 points. So it's in between the two options there, so it's sort of a medium cost to that. But I would still go to Storm Spear Rocket Pod. Okay, so that's the Paladin. Right, Knight Errant next. So, same stat line for the Knight Errant. Its starting cost is 285. You then add in, you've got carapace weapons available. It's armed with the thermal cannon. It's one of my favourite choices now for firepower in the knights. The thermal cannon will cost 76 points, so it's cheaper than the battle cannon. It's range 36, heavy d6. So yes, you can roll 1s and 2s for the number of shots, and it's not going to be that effective. But there's times when you roll 6, 5 shots, and all of a sudden you got a lot of firepower coming through at strength 9, AP -4 and d6 damage. And if you get to in half range, which would be 18, then you choose your best dice when you're inflicting damage. If you get the number of shots away with that, good number of shots, 4 or more shots with the thermal cannon, and you should expect to cause a fair bit of damage. So interested now with the Knight Errant, just looking to see if there's anything else. You can go for the Reaper Chainsword. You can replace the Reaper Chainsword with Thunderstrike Gauntlet, and you may replace the heavy stuff with Melter Gun. So yes, there is the rule here, Super Heavy Walkers, just to cover that. Yes, the Wargames and the Helverins don't have it, but Preceptor, Paladin, Knight Errant has it as well, along with the others that we already checked out. So super heavy walker, this really helps. This model can fall back in the mint phase and still shoot and or charge in the same turns. Excellent flexibility, there's no worry about getting bogged down. The opponent sends out some horde unit and you can't pull away. Unless you're, no, I was going to say unless you're surrounded, but I believe you can step over the top. Yeah. When its warlord falls back, it can move over enemy infantry and swarm models, though it must end its move more than an inch from enemy units. In addition, this model can move and fire heavy weapons without suffering the penalty to its hit rolls. Finally, this model only gains a bonus for its save for being in cover if at least half the model is obscured from the fire. So that's that rules there for the errant. So Knight Gallant next. Now Knight Errant's 22, the Gallant is 20. I wonder if they've changed this here. It's got an extra attack. The Knight Gallant comes with 5 attacks as standard. Everything else is the same. He's armed with a Reaper Chainsaw, that's 30 points, and the Thunderstrike Gauntlet as well. 35 for that. Yep. Heavy Stubborn Titanic Fleet. This is actually a cheaper option, but you're cutting yourself down to sort of a close combat only option with the Knight Gallant. So, interesting, you've got an extra attack there, so that's good. So if you are going to go for it, you want the close combat ability. They've rewarded you here by giving you an extra close combat attack and a cheaper option as well. So, yeah, it's a close combat configuration, but to have a 24 wound, toughness 8, 3 up save, 5+ in1 save model coming towards you, if whatever army you have, it's going to be a distraction for sure. So that may be an option to have one of these things that just plows in straight towards the opponent, drawing in the firepower whilst the other units are able to operate more freely. So it's cheaper as well to do it. Sort of throwaway knight, if there is such a thing. Yeah, I might do that if I was fielding a whole army. Go for the cheapest possible option here and just set this one as the one that is sent in quickly. If the opponent ignores it, they can't, it's going to charge and cause trouble. You know, it's got so much ability in close combat, and then whilst the opponent's trying to deal with that threat that's moving in very rapidly, the other units can fire and get into position and cause trouble. So Night Warden back up to power level 23 for him, back down to 4 attacks as well. So you've got the Avenger Gatling Cannon here. So Night Warden 285, Avenger Gatling Cannon 75 points. This is an option I dropped. I used to use the Avenger Gatling Cannon, now I have dropped it, I don't use it anymore. It's range 36, heavy 12, strength 6, -2 and 2 damage. It sounds really good, but what was happening was I was lacking anti-tank, and I was ended up firing that weapon at usual vehicles, and so heavy 12, then you'd say 8 attacks or 8 hits with that, and if I was shooting at a vehicle, which I ended up doing, trying to cause wounds, strength 6, you have 5s to wound, so 2 or 3 wounds. Opponent perhaps might save 1, and it's 2 damage. It's just not very significant at all. So I didn't go for the Avenger Gatling Cannon. In the end, I swapped it out for the Thermal Cannon instead. But that's the option that's available. Heavy Flamer as well. Heavy Flamer, yep. Do you have to pay for that? Just checking the cost here. 17, yeah. So you've got options to take carapace weapons. The Heavy Flamer is range 8, heavy d6, strength 5, -1, and 1 damage. So auto hits on the target. Covered all these others. So the model may replace its Reaper Chainsaw with a Thunderstrike Gauntlet. And this model may replace its Heavy Stubble with a Multigun. Okay, and then the usual rules that we've covered here already. So then you've got Knight Crusader, power level 25 for him. 285 points the base cost, plus the upgrades that get added on. So you've got the Avenger Gatling Cannon here, plus 75 for that. The Rapid Fire Battle Cannon, oh no, 100 points to add on for that. and the Icarus autocannons there. It's about 35 points to add on. So this is expensive, this one, the Night Crusader. So yeah, carapace weapons, may replace its thermal cannon, rapid fire battle cannon and heavy stubber. So I want to replace one heavy stubber with a melter gun. There's a few options available there. Yeah, okay, so that's the Crusader. Right, so next is Canis Rex, power level 23. Then here just checking, 450 points, does include your war gear though. It's great to have a character. Yeah, it's character, but so many wounds you can still be targeted as usual. Usual stat line is exactly the same, yes. Then Sir Hector, if he gets out, I suppose, range 6 or movement 6, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 9 and 4 up save. Damage bracket's the same. Canis Rex is a single model equipped with a las impulsor, which we'll check in just a moment, the multi-laser, Freedom's hand, nice, and Titanic feet. So Hector begins the battle piloting Canis Rex. See the Sir Hector ability below. Only one of this unit can be included in your army. So the Aerotech pistol, this is what Canis Rex is carrying. Range 15, pistol 1, strength 5, -2 and 2 damage. Nasty. Nice, decent pistol that one. So, the las impulsor then. You choose one of the profiles. So, within range 36, that's the longest range. It's heavy 2d6, so between 2 and 12 shots. Excellent. Strength 6, -2 and d3 damage. That's low intensity. Then high intensity, range 18. Heavy d6, range strength 12, -4, d6 damage. Nice. Yeah, it's a decent weapon. Freedom's hand then, the melee weapon that he carries. It's ×2 strength, strength 16, 2s to wound. Just trying to get those hits, and you've got 2s to wound. -4. Is this a typo here? Damage is 2d6. Wow, all of a sudden, you're just looking for 1 or 2 of those to get through. It says 2d6. When attacking this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll. Yeah, not so good. But what is good is his weapon skill and ballistic skill. He starts on 2+. So that's helpful because then he is on 3+ to hit. Yep, so that's good. Treat any damage roll less than 6 made with this model as 6 instead. Yeah. Treat any damage roll less than 6 made with this weapon as 6. So I'm not entirely sure how this works. You've got 2d6 damage. Ah, right, in total. Right, okay, sorry. So you roll 2d6, as if it's ever less. So say you roll 1 or 2, it's 3. It just automatically just gets bumped up to 6 minimum. So it's 6 or more damage every time, guaranteed. Exceptionally good close combat weapon. A great looking model. Looks really good. Nice, great colour scheme. If a vehicle or monster is slain by this weapon, pick an enemy unit within 9. This is him throwing it across the battlefield. Roll a d6 and a 4+, it's d3 mortal wounds to that unit. Titanic feet explodes. 5+ in 1 save as usual. So Hector then, if Canis Rex is reduced to 0 wounds but does not explode, set up so Hector within 3 inches of it before Canis Rex is removed. He's treated as a passenger disembarking from a destroyed transport. Assuming he survives, Hector then uses his own profile and his own keywords below and is armed with the Aerotech pistol. This unit is not considered to have been destroyed until Hector is slain. Nice. It's helpful there, a little character you get in your army who can then go and sit on objectives and so on. Cool. Super heavy walker, use your rules, you can pull out combat, step over stuff and so on. Chainbreaker, roll a d6 each time a friendly Imperial model flees within 6 inches of Canis Rex. 6, that model does not flee. It's a bit of a morale boost there as well. Okay. Right, it's the Knight Castellan next here. This is going to be interesting. So he's 30, power level 30 here. So yeah, fair jump there. Power level 30 for the Knight Castellan. He will cost 510, and you add your wargear on top. So he's he may not be significantly taller than the Imperial Knight, but he's a lot more expensive. So he's slower as well, actually. So between 15 and 28 wounds, movement 10, weapon skill 4+, interesting, and then a 3+ ballistic skill. Yeah, real knock there for weapon skill. So it's more designed as a gun platform. Between 8 and 14 wounds is movement 7, weapon skill 5+, ballistic skill 4+, and between 1 and 7 wounds is movement 4, weapon skill 6+, ballistic skill 5+. Strength enough to say 28 wounds to try and get through, 3 attacks, leadership 9 and 3 up save. A Knight Castellan is a single model armed with a plasma decimator. So 0 points for that. I'll check the rules for him in just a moment. The Volcano Lance sounds fantastic. 0 points as well. 2 shield breaker missiles. 12 points each. It's not very much at all. 2 twin melty guns. This could be expensive. Oh no. 2 melty guns. 0. Wow. Okay. It's not so bad really. I was expecting one cascade after another of points costs. And then Titanic Feet. Oh, 2 Siegebreaker cannons. So twin Siegebreaker, 35 points. Not too bad there. So you're looking at about 550 odd points, roundabout. So not too bad, not too far off a fully equipped Imperial Knight. So the Plasma Decimator. When attacking with this weapon, you choose one of the profiles below. It's range 48, heavy 2d6, strength 7 -3. It's excellent for clearing heavy infantry out of the way. A real bane for Space Marines. Type model of Chaos Space Marines, and for flushing them out of cover and so on. So that's an excellent choice. Or you can supercharge, which is heavy 2d6, strength 8 -3 and 2 damage. Each hit roll over 1, bearer suffers a mortal wound after all the weapon shots have been resolved. So that will cause a fair bit of damage against vehicles. So that's an excellent weapon, that one. Plasma Decimator is excellent. Vehicles and heavy infantry you can take out, and you're bound to have those kind of targets throughout a game. So the Decimator is excellent, and the range is good as well, 48. So Shield Breaker Missile, heavy 1, range 48, strength 10, -4 and d6 damage. Each Shield Breaker Missile can only be fired once per battle, and the model can only fire 1 each turn. Invuln saves cannot be made against wounds caused by this weapon. Wow, that's why it's called this Shield Breaker. No invulns allowed. God. Nice weapon. Scary, really good. So twin Siegebreaker cannon, heavy 2d3. So it's not 2 lots of that. It's just going to be heavy 2d3. They have that profile, range 48 again. Excellent range on all of these weapons. Strength 7 -1 and d3 damage, so it can aid and help out a bit. I do like the turrets with the double barrel cannons on them, do look very cool. 2 Shield Breaker, Siege Shield Breakers, just come with 2 lots of them. Yep. So 2d3, yeah, times 2. You've got 2 of them. So nice lot of shots from that. So 5+ invuln save. You can swap the twin. May replace one of its Shield Breaker cannons with 2 Shield Breaker missiles. So that's the configuration where you see the this one has the turrets on the outside, but there's other configurations back there with 2 sets of rockets, 1 on each side and a cannon in the middle. Dual Plasma Core Explosion. This model was reduced to 0 wounds. Roll 2d6 before moving it from the battlefield. If you roll a 6 on either dice, it explodes, while double the chance than usual. And each unit within 2d6 suffers d6 mortal wounds. If you roll a 6, each unit within 3d6 suffers d6 mortal wounds. So when it goes up for sure. super heavy walkout rules available for the Castellan as well. So by comparison then, that's the Castellan, nice sort of 48-inch range firepower available for that. If things get too close, it's 4 melter gun shots there. Obviously all the other weapons as well. It can defend itself no problem. It has titanic feet, which is loads of attacks if it needs it. So by comparison, you've got the Castellan. Now we'll take a look at the Valiant here as well, who is power level 30. Stat line the same. And across here as well. I'll just cover the weaponry for this bit. So a Thundercoil Harpoon, we'll just get the points cost here. 500, it's roughly the same. Thundercoil type, the Harpoon is at 0. Conflagration Cannon, 0. 2 Siegebreaker Cannons, I've seen the points cost for them. 2 Twin Melter Guns, surprised they're coming at 0 as well. 4 Shieldbreaker Missiles and Titanic Feet. So generally the same kind of points cost. So the Conflagration Cannon, range 18, heavy, 3d6, strength 7 minus 2, 2 damage. Auto hits on the target, so you average about 10 hits. Strength 2, strength 7 minus 2. Wow, so fire that again, heavy infantry, it's going to be real bane for them. For Overwatch, a brilliant Overwatch protection as well for the actual model. And you're going to still cause trouble for main vehicles and monsters as well, because it's like a flamer type weapon, but you're at strength 7. Wow. So excellent weapon again. These weapons are all very scary here for these new options. Shieldbreaker Missiles, saying really like the idea of that, really cool. Twin Siegebreaker Cannons, I've seen those. So the Thundercoil Harpoon, it's range 12, a lot of shorter range weaponry here. Remember the 2 lots of Twin Melter Guns again, range 12. So range 12, heavy 1, strength 16, AP minus 6. Why would you ever need that kind of AP? AP minus 6, and then damage, I've never seen it before, damage 10. Unbelievable. You can reroll failed hit rolls when targeting a vehicle or monster. Incredible. In addition, if this weapon inflicts any damage, target unit suffers an additional D3 mortal wounds. Oh, no. It's just damage 10 plus D3. So you're looking at that potentially could take out a standard battle tank. Yeah, so a Rhino, for example, is dead. So's a Predator, because you're 11 wounds. You're on 10 plus 1, the number of wounds. Yeah, and a vehicle has 11, so yeah, there'd be auto kill on that as well. Ridiculous. The Harpoons, I've not seen stats like that. Absolutely terrifying. Strength 16, minus 6, 10 damage, plus D3 mortal wounds, if it's a vehicle monster. Very, very, very frightening weaponry here. Certainly units to be feared, for sure. So you have the dual plasma core explosion, as we've already seen, super heavy walkout, and the iron shield 5+ in 1 save available as well. And a great army for these would be a spread of all the units, and then a couple of tech priests walking around in between their feet, just repairing stuff. And their characters, they'd be hard to pick off as well. Cool. So, piece of terrain next, Fortification. So the Sacristan Forge Shrine here. So you build it here, this AvMech style terrain, build it in that configuration. So abilities. It's 80 points. There's no wargear to add on. No. So Sector Mechanica structure. After it is set up, a Sacristan Forge Shrine is treated as a Sector Mechanicus terrain feature. It cannot be moved. It's treated as a friendly, or is not treated as a friendly or enemy model, and cannot be targeted or affected by any attacks or abilities. Right, so it's protected once you deploy it. Unless they can fly, vehicles, monsters, and cavalry and bikers can only be set up and end their moves on the ground floor of a Sector Mechanica structure. Unless they can fly, infantry, beasts and swarms must scale ladders, girders or walls to ascend or descend between different levels of a Sector Mechanica structure. Infantry also assumed to be able to traverse through girders, buttresses, hanging chains, and so move through them without impediment. So infantry. Units that are entirely on a Sector Mechanica structure receive the bonus to their armour save from being in cover. It's +1. Other units that are entirely on the structure only receive this bonus if at least 50% of every model is obscured from the point of view of the obscuring or shooting unit. So it's nice protection there. And then auto sacristan. At the end of your movement phases, one Imperial Knight's vehicle from your army that is within an inch of this model can use the Forge Shrine's auto sacristan. If it does so, it cannot shoot or charge this turn. Oh, it's quite a sacrifice. And its attack's characteristic is reduced to 1, but you can then choose and resolve one of the following effects. So, number 1, Ritual of Repairing. The vehicle regains D3 lost wounds. If there is a tech priest or tech marine from your army on the sacristan Forge Shrine and they have not used their ability to repair another vehicle this turn, they can aid in the Ritual of Repairing instead, using this ability. If they do so, the vehicle regains 3 lost wounds, so it's a guaranteed 3. So it's like an aid station, a repair station you could have in the middle of the battlefield whilst units are fighting. So you can choose that one, or you've got Ritual of Reloading. If the vehicle is equipped with shield breaker missiles, it regains all shield breaker missiles it fired previously in the battle. If it is not, or if it has its full complement of shield breaker missiles, choose one weapon the vehicle is equipped with, not an heirloom of the noble houses. The next time it is fired, it always makes the maximum number of attacks. For example, heavy D6 would be 12 shots. Nice. Cool. And then the right of refueling at the end of your next movement phase, increase the move characteristic of the vehicle by 6. Nice. You can only use one sacristan per turn, but they're all pretty good. Yeah, helpful enough, and it's not too expensive. Yeah, so some handy bonuses there. Okay. So, the armaments here, we've covered all of these as we've gone along. There's your setup here, so Orcs trying to fight these breakthrough here of the Imperial Knights. And then we're on to the Might of the Night Worlds. So, with those units, there's plenty of variety there. I'm not sure what I'd go for. Configurations, they're all good, but the Valiant and the Castellan, they're armed to the teeth, absolutely armed to the teeth. There's a ton of firepower on those, and some scary, terrifying weapons. So I think they'll be popular for sure. But definitely have at least one. If I was doing a 1750, 2000 point army, whichever combination, definitely have one of those. And then I definitely have one Imperial Knight, 2 would look better, or 3 of them even. And then also have 2 Wargames. The Helverins I think are excellent as well. Invaluable firepower from them. I have a feeling the opponent, because of the way the imposing size of Imperial Knights, I have a feeling the opponent is going to pick on the bigger targets, the Knights, and ignore these, and then that's to their advantage. They can sit back, nice long range, chuck out tons of firepower. Yeah, round after round, just loads of firepower coming in. So the Helverins are great. But they're all pretty good, and some great points reductions as well. So, Knight Lances. If your army's battle forged, select one model in each Imperial Knight's super heavy detachment in your army. Each model you selected gains the character keyword. However, the command benefit of each Imperial Knight's super heavy detachment is changed to none, unless it contains any combination of at least 3 Questoris class and Dominus class units. Okay. So, household traditions then. You choose your household tradition. Yep. And then Freeblades. Inclusion of a Freeblade unit in Imperial Knight's detachment does not prevent other units in the detachment from gaining a household tradition. That's nice, okay, so you take the Freeblade in with them. However, Freeblade units can never themselves benefit from a household tradition. Yep, okay, so they're outside of that influence. Okay. So Questoris Imperialis household traditions. So House Terran. Gallant warriors. When determining the distance that a unit with this household advances or charges, roll an additional d6 and discard the lowest. It's not that great. Nope. It's helpful if your whole philosophy is to move and advance quickly, then yes, but not too great a bonus. House Griffith, Glory of the Charge. Add one to attacks characteristic of a model with this household tradition during any turn in which it charged or performed heroic intervention. In addition, a model with this household tradition can perform heroic interventions as if it were a character. Nice. Yeah, okay, straightforward enough. Any extra attacks for these guys is really helpful, usually starting off in about 4. So any way of becoming more reliable with the attacks or just getting more attacks is good. House Hawk Shroud, Oath Keepers. Models with this household tradition double the number of wounds they have remaining for the purpose of determining what characteristic to use. Okay, so that's helpful enough. House Cadmus, Hunters of the Foe. Reroll wound rolls of 1 in the fight phase for attacks made by units of this household tradition against units which only contain models with wounds characteristic of 12 or less. Okay, so again, bit of a bonus there, but not too amazing. House Morton, Close Quarters Killers. Add 1 to the hit rolls in the fight phase. That's very helpful. Yep. On the turn in which they charged, or were charged, or performed heroic intervention. Nice. Yeah, that one's good. Okay. But then you've got Questa Mechanicus here. So that's House Raven, that's the household that I have. House Tyrannus, House Crest, and Volker as well. So, House Raven. Models with this household tradition do not suffer the penalties to their hit rolls for advancing and firing assault weapons. Furthermore, during a turn in which a unit of this household tradition advances, all of its heavy weapons are treated as assault. Okay, so you can move pretty quick with them if you need to, and still be effective with the firepower. So there's some bonus there for the House Raven. House Tyrannus. Roll a d6 each time model this household tradition loses a wound. Unless it's from a mortal wound on a 6, the damage is ignored. Pretty good. House Crest, Cold Fury. You can reroll failed hit rolls in the fight phase for a model with House Crest tradition during a turn in which they charge. That's really helpful. Really helpful. Was charged or performed heroic intervention. In addition, you can reroll all failed hit rolls in the fight phase for a model with this household tradition against Titanic units. That's a really good bonus there for Cold Fury from House Crest. The last one is House Volker, Firestorm Protocols. Reroll the hit rolls of 1 for a model with this household tradition whenever you're resolving an attack with a ranged weapon that is targeting the closest enemy unit. Okay. That's the options then. I think my favourite one is House Crest. They're the Cold Fury. There. Yeah, reroll failed hit rolls. Nice. Yeah, in which it was charged, so you can get that on your Overwatch as well. So it just says reroll hit rolls in the turn in which you're charged, so I believe you get that. Now, stratagems, there's loads of them, so plenty here, and it's worth getting to know your stratagems so that you're on standby ready to play. I try and memorise as many of them as I can, have them laid out, have them nearby, and then usually when your opponent's making a move somewhere or doing something else, there's an opportunity there where I flick through the stratagems, have them all laid out on the table, just check them all over, make sure they're in my mind which ones I need. But there's loads to choose from here. So, yeah, another big thing here. Imperial Knights, potentially not many units in the army, and so you know, in a usual army, say you've got 15 units, including all the characters, between 15, 16, 17, whatever it may be. Your stratagem, you can only play that particular stratagem on a unit. You know, it's all broken up into smaller units. But if you've got only a handful of units and you're playing stratagems on them, then that's it's more effective, more powerful that way. For the larger unit to take it. So, for 2 command points, this Iron Aegis here, use the stratagem at the start of your opponent's movement phase. Choose a Dominus class unit from your army. That unit cannot move until the end of its next turn for any reason, but until the start of your turn, friendly Imperial units have a 5+ invuln save against ranged weapons, whilst the whole within 6 inches. It would have been a good one if you remain stationary on your next turn. You can fire on this turn twice. It would be good. Okay. Noble Sacrifice. 2 command points. Use a stratagem before rolling to see if an Imperial Knight's model from your army explodes. If it is an Armiger class or Questoris class model, it explodes on a 4+. If it's Dominus class, it explodes on a, if either roll is 4+. If both rolls are 4+, then all units in 3d6 are affected. Cool. Thunder Stomp. Use a stratagem immediately after fighting with a Titanic Imperial Knights model from your army. Choose an enemy infantry or swarm unit within an inch. That model, roll dice on a 4+, it's D3 mortal wounds. Yeah, helpful enough. Mortal wounds are great. They are good. So just a little 1 command point option there. Sky Reaper Protocols. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase before an Armiger Helverin from your army makes its attacks against an enemy unit that can fly. Until the end of the phase, you can reroll failed hit rolls for Armiger Helverins, Armiger autocannons against the enemy unit. That's very helpful. Really is good. It's so important to have these on standby. You know, have them near you visually during a game to make sure you can call upon these. Because sometimes there's a window of opportunity. If you miss it, you move on to the next turn. It's too late. So you can have these ready to play it straight away. If they're in your mind, ready to use. That one's a really good one. Really good. Rotate Iron Shields is next. So use your stratagem when an enemy unit targets an Imperial Knight's vehicle from your army that has an invuln save. This stratagem costs 3 command points if the target is a Dominus class unit, otherwise it's 1 command point. To the end of that phase, the vehicle's unit's invuln saves improve by 1 to a maximum of 3+. So yeah, that's helpful. Played that a number of times. It's a good reaction. Yeah, it's a good reaction. Say for example you set up, you don't go first, your opponent's ready to fire everything into the knight, and then you can play this just to help improve your invuln save against things like las cannons and so on. So that's an excellent stratagem. Heirlooms of the Household, that's your extra relics. Exalted Court, either 1 or 3 command points. Use a stratagem before the battle. After you've chosen your Warlord, choose 1 Questor class or Dominus class model from your army for 1 command point, or choose 2 such models for 3 command points. Each model you chose gains the character keyword, and you can choose an enemy Imperial Knights Warlord. You can choose an Imperial Knights Warlord trait for them. Note that this model is only regarded as your Warlord for the purposes of the Warlord trait. Right. All of the Imperial Knights Warlord traits in your army must be different. If randomly generated, keep re-rolling duplicate results, and no model can have more than 1. You can only use the stratagem once per battle. So yeah, depends on how good the relics are. We'll come to that a bit later on. But there's a way of attaching more of those on. So another helpful card. Pack Hunters is next here. Use 1 command point. Use your stratagem after a Household Armiger Warglaive from your army is charged. To the end of the phase, you can reroll failed charge rolls for friendly Armiger Warglaives whilst within 12 inches of that model. So if you've got a battle line of them, trying to get them into combat, then that's helpful enough. Yeah, pretty good. And again, cheap, 1 command point. The Oathbreaker Guidance System is next for 2 command points. Use your stratagem before choosing a target for a Shieldbreaker missile. The Shieldbreaker missile can target a unit that is not visible to the bearer, and it can target a character even if it's not the closest enemy unit. Oh no, that's ridiculous. Oh no, that's terrible. Terrible as in, it's terrifying. Use this stratagem before choosing a target for a Shieldbreaker missile in your shooting phase. That Shieldbreaker missile can target a unit that is not visible to the bearer, and it can target a character even if it's not the closest enemy unit. And it's going to ignore our invulns. It's terrifying, absolutely terrifying weapon. Oathbreaker Guidance System, nice. So Full Tilt is next for 2 command points. There's some very powerful stratagems in here. We've still got a good number here as well, but it's very, very powerful. Full tilt, 2 command points. Use your stratagem in your charge phase. Choose an Imperial Knight's vehicle from your army that advanced this turn. That model can declare a charge, even though it advanced. So a little bit of flexibility. Available with that one. Iron Hail Heavy Stubbers, 1 command point. Use your stratagem before the battle. Choose 1 Imperial Knight's detachment from your army. The AP characteristic of all heavy stubbers equipped on a Questoris Imperialis models in that detachment is changed to -1. Okay. Pretty good. So next one is Devastating Reach. Use your stratagem in your charge phase. Choose a Titanic Imperial Knights model from your army that's not yet charged. Then choose 1 enemy unit that is entirely on ruins or sector mechanicus structure. None of its models are on the ground floor as the target of its charge. If your model can end its charge move within 2 inches horizontally and 6 inches vertically of that enemy unit, the charge is successful. And you can make close combat attacks in the ensuing fight phase. All hit rolls made using Titanic feet automatically fail. Okay, so trying to give you permission to fight at the high levels. If you cannot end your charge move within the above mentioned distances, the charge fails. Okay, so there's that rule, that contentious rule where you can't charge and say it's on the 2nd floor and you sort of stand, you have to ignore the unit, but now there's sort of an override here in the form of this Devastating Reach, which is helpful. Chain Sweep, 1 command point. Use this stratagem immediately after fighting with the Imperial Knights model from your army that is equipped with a Reaper Chainsword, Ravager or Honour's Bite. Okay, that's the relics there, I think. Roll a d6 for each enemy model within 3 inches of that model. On a 6, takes a mortal wound. Okay, so not that. Amazing. Death Grip is next. Use the stratagem, it's 1 command point. Immediately after fighting with an Imperial Knights model from your army that is equipped with a Thunderstrike Gauntlet. The Paragon Gauntlet or Freedom's Hand. Resolve an additional attack with that weapon against an enemy unit within 1 inch that consists of a single model. If the attack hits, the enemy model suffers D3 mortal wounds instead of the normal damage and is caught in a Death Grip. Both players roll off and add the respective model's strength characteristic to their result. If your opponent's result equals or exceeds yours, the enemy model breaks free and nothing happens. Otherwise, the enemy model suffers D3 mortal wounds. Both players roll off again. As before, continue to do so until the enemy model breaks free or is slain. Death Grip. So lengthy explanation there, but pretty cool. Scary enough, that one. Okay. Yes, the households have got their cards here as well, which is good. They've got their own configurations. So bonded oaths men here. 1 command point for this one. Use your stratagem at the end of the enemy charge phase. Choose a household quest, a class or Dominus class unit from your army that has been charged this turn. All friendly household Armiger class units that are within 6 inches of that unit can immediately perform a heroic intervention as if they were characters. Each can move up to 6 inches when doing so and must end their move closer to the nearest enemy unit. Yeah, cool. Yeah, helpful. The Valiant Last Stand is next for 2 command points. The stratagem and a Questoris Imperialis model from your army is reduced to 0 wounds but did not explode. Before removing it from the battlefield, that model can immediately either shoot as if it were a shooting phase or fight as if it were the fight phase. Wow. In resolving these attacks, assume the model has 1 wound remaining when determining which characteristics to use. Well, it's damage table, so usually it's going to be 5+, but if you're armed with loads of weapons, it's well worth doing that. Valiant Last Stand, excellent. Benevolence of the Machine God. 1 command point, use a stratagem when a Questoris Mechanicus model from your army suffers a mortal wound. Roll a d6 for that mortal wound, and each other mortal wound inflicted on that model for the rest of the phase, and 5+, the mortal wound is ignored. Helpful if you're up against a wall of smite, for example, which can soon knock the wounds down on your knights and other units like that. The Machine Spirit Resurgent. Yeah, I'm recognising some of these from the Admech Codex here. Use your stratagem at the start of any turn. Pick a Questoris Mechanicus unit from your army. To the end of the turn, use the top row of the damage table, regardless of how many wounds are left. That's very, very helpful, that one. Say your knight's gone across the board, he's been a target, loads of firepower, you reach your opponent ready to fight, and he's down to his lowest bracket, and all of a sudden he's on 5 to in close combat. But now you can just play for 1 command point, bring him back up to attack at the full potential, and that can really, really help out. So that's an excellent one. Canis Heavy Stubbers. Use this stratagem before the battle. Choose an Imperial Knight's detachment from your army. All heavy stubbers equipped on AdMech models in your detachment gain the following ability. You can fire this weapon even if the bearer advanced, but you must subtract 2 from the hit rolls when you do so. When firing Overwatch this weapon, the attacks are resolved using the firing model's ballistic skill. You reroll failed hit rolls for this weapon if the bearer advanced this turn and has the Relentless Household Edition, or if the bearer is firing Overwatch and has the Firestorm Protocols Household Edition. Again, another long explanation of rules in that one. Yeah, a lot of little bits, all broken into little bits. Just there. It's okay, but I do like the ones that are the shorter ones and the ones that are easy to remember in the middle of a game. You know, this card does this card does that, and you can choose your 5 ones that are really powerful. And you have them on standby and you just refer to them, and it really helps out. So the timing of them and remembering to use them is half the battle when it comes to stratagems. Sally forth then. Use this stratagem during deployments for 3 command points. You can send 1 Questoris Imperialis class or Armiger class unit from your army to outflank the enemy. Wow, that is very cool. Instead of setting up on the battlefield, at the end of any of your movement phases, this unit can join the battle. Set it up so it's within 6 inches of any battlefield edge and more than 9 inches away from any models. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. So I take it now the new FAQ, the big FAQ, it's going to be turn 1 restriction. You can only come into your own deployment zone, and then turn 2 onwards you can arrive on any flank you want, I reckon. It's any battlefield edge. So even interesting. So 2 flanks for sure, and even the opponent's deployment zone edge, any battlefield edge. Yep. Wow, what an ambush. That's a really good one. Slayers of Shadows is next, 1 command point. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase before choosing a House Morton unit from your army to shoot with. At the end of the phase, the unit ignores all modifiers, positive and negative, when making its attacks. So, helpful enough. Yep. Yeah, it's helpful. Say your opponent's stacked up a number of benefits, and then all of a sudden you can play that and just negate it on and just shoot as normal. That one's a good one. Glory in Honour, 3 command points. Use the stratagem for House Terran unit from your army has fought in the fight phase. You can fight again. Excellent one, but expensive, 3 command points. Next is Order of Companions. This is for House Raven. This is the ones that I have. It's 2 command points. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a House Raven model from your army. At the end of the phase, you can reroll all rolls of 1 for that model. Oh. This includes hit rolls, wound rolls, damage rolls, and rolls made to determine the number of shots fired by weapons. That's a really good one. Yeah, pretty good. Our Darkest Hour, 2 command points. This is for House Tyrannus. Use stratagem for House Tyrannus model from your army is reduced to 0 wounds but did not explode. Roll d6 on a 4+. Select the model again, as close as possible to its previous position, more than an inch from enemy models with d3 wounds remaining. Wow. Good one. Saturation Bombardment, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase before choosing a House of Volker model from your army to shoot with. At the end of the phase, each unmodified hit roll of 6 for that model's shooting attack scores 2 hits instead of 1. Okay, another pretty good one. So, I think the stratagems are excellent for the Imperial Knights. I think they're really good. There's some great ones, some really good ones. So, Dragon Slayer is next. 2 command points for House Griffith here. Use the stratagem before House Griffith model from your army makes its attacks in the shooting or fight phase. At the end of the phase, add 1 to the wound rolls made for that model's attacks against units containing models with a wounds characteristic of 10 or more. It's a bit of help with that one. Controlled aggression for House Crest. Use a stratagem in the fight phase before choosing a House Crest unit to fight with. To the end of the phase, each unmodified hit roll of 6 for that unit's attack scores 2 hits instead of 1, or 3 hits instead of 1 if the target is Chaos. The model cannot be affected by both controlled aggression stratagems and the Thunder Stomp, Death Grip or Chain Sweep stratagems in the same turn. So it's not bad. 3 command points: Bio, Scryer, Cogitator. Yeah, I think I said that right. Array. Cogitator array. Okay. Use this stratagem immediately after your opponent sets up a unit that's arriving on the battlefield as reinforcements within 12 of a House Cadmus model from your army. That model can immediately shoot at that enemy unit as if it were your shooting phase. No minuses. That one's good. That one's really good. Then Staunch Allies. 2 command points. Use this stratagem immediately after an enemy unit declares a charge against an Imperial unit from your army, which is a very broad options there. Choose a friendly House Hawkshroud model that is more than an inch from enemy units and within 12 inches of the unit that's been targeted. That model fires Overwatch at the charging unit as if itself were targeted by the charge. Furthermore, if the resulting charge is successful, the model can perform an heroic intervention against the unit that charged at the end of the phase if it were a character. If it does so, it can move up to 2d6. It's a nice bit of movement, but must end its move closer to the unit that charged and cannot move more than an inch of any other enemy models. Fair enough. So yeah, pretty good. Plenty to choose from. Sometimes you got all the households thinking if you've got all the households you're just going to be left with a handful of regular stratagems, but they haven't. They've given you loads to choose from here. So really good. So Warlord traits then. So Cunning Commander. Canis Rex, by the way, and Sir Hector, they have the Fearsome Reputation, which is number 6. So you can randomise, you can choose. Number 1 is Cunning Commander. Once per battle, you can reroll 1 hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, saving throw made for your Warlord. In addition, if your army is battle forged, you gain additional command points. So that was okay. It's alright. Iron Bulwark. Your Warlord has a 4+ invuln save against ranged weapons. Combine that with that stratagem, the Iron Shield, you can cut up to 3+ invuln. Pretty good. The Knight Senescal. Add 1 to your Warlord's attacks. It's alright. Land Strider. Add 2 to all advance and charge rolls made for your friendly household units in 6 of the Warlord. Blessing by the Sacristans. Choose 1 weapon, not an heirloom of the noble houses, that your Warlord is equipped with. Each time you make an unmodified wound of a 6, so that weapon the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to the normal damage. That's okay. Yeah, I'd go for the 2 best so far. I think are the 2 here, 1 and 2. Get a bonus command point and a reroll, or an invuln save improvement. Again, easy to remember as well. Fearsome Reputation. Enemy units must subtract 1 from their leadership characteristic whilst within 12 of your Warlord. Whilst within 6 inches of your Warlord, subtract 2. Again, in the middle of a game, that's the type of rule that can easily be forgotten, and you wish you hadn't, because there's times when that may well prove helpful. So Household Warlord traits, that's the standard ones you can choose from, and there's ones here specifically for the different households here. So there's Raven just there. House Terran first of all. Champion of the household, you can reroll our charge rolls for your Warlord. It's not bad. Griffith here. Immediately after your Warlord completes a charge move, choose an enemy unit within an inch and roll a d6. On 4+, it's d3 mortal wounds. It's okay. Hawk Shroud. At the start of the first battle round, but before the first turn begins, select 1 unit in your opponent's army. Add 1 to the hit rolls made for your Warlord against that unit. Okay, she's sort of going after a certain unit the opponent has. Cadmus. Yeah, these are okay, I'm still liking those two. Cadmus, reduce all damage suffered by your warlord in the fight phase by 1 to a minimum of 1. It's okay. Subtract 1 from, this is a Legacy of the Black Pool for Morton, House Morton. Subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks that target your warlord at a range of more than 18. Yeah, that's pretty cool, that's helpful. House Raven, add 1 to the saving throws made for your warlord against attacks that have an AP characteristic of -1. This does not affect invuln saves. That's Master of the Trial. Interesting. And then Knight of Mars, that's for Tyrannus. Each time you make a wound roll of a 6+. For your warlord in the shooting phase, the AP characteristic of that attack is improved by 1. Yes, yeah, not bad. And then this one here, crashed. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for your warlord. That's shooting and combat. That's straightforward. Yeah, you go into fire weapons. Freeze to hit rerolling 1s is pretty reliable. And in combat, you don't have many attacks. Say you've got 4 attacks, you roll a couple of 1s. That comes to the rescue. You're able to reroll those. So that one's a good one. House crashed. Volker, Adamantium Knight. Wound rolls of 1, 2 or 3 made for attacks against your warlord always fail, even if the attack has a strength characteristic higher than your warlord's toughness. So helpful enough to add a bit of protection to these models. Okay. So, I mean, this codex hasn't been sidelined by Games Workshop, like, you know, like a low priority faction. We'll just re-release a quick codex. They give you loads of stuff here. This is all your relics, and all your relics, loads of relics. So plenty of options here. So this is a very well put together codex here. So Sanctuary, first of all. The bearer has a 5+7 save against ranged and melee weapons as well. So that's that one. The Ravager. Model with a Reaper Chainsword only. Ravager replaces the bearer's Reaper Chainsword, has the following profile. Strength +8. Nice. AP -4 and 6 damage. Reroll failed hit rolls of 1 for this weapon. That's really helpful. If the bearer has the Cold Fury household tradition, you can instead reroll all failed hit rolls for this weapon. Nice. This is really helpful here. That's really good. Okay, so that's a good one. Yeah, just like 4 attacks, you've got to get those hits. Devastating when you charge in. Fantastic weapon, and then you roll, 2 twos, 1, and then a hit, and it's just no impact. But anything that can help you get those hits, so that's helpful with the Ravager. The Paragon Gauntlet, Thunderstrike Gauntlet only. The Paragon Gauntlet replaces that. It's ×2 strength, AP -4, and 8, 8 damage. Wow. If a vehicle or monster is slain by this weapon, pick an enemy unit within 9. 1/4+ is D3 mortal wounds. Yeah, they throw it the same as before. Armour of the Sainted Iron is save characteristic of 2+. Yep, excellent. These are, you don't pay anything for these. Brilliant. Endless Fury. And it's probably going to be well worth using your command points to purchase a couple of these. These are all really good. Endless Fury. This is the Avenger Gatling Cannon. Endless Fury replaces that. It's, wow, range 36, heavy 14, strength 6, AP -2, 2 damage. Each unmodified hit roll of a 6. This weapon scores 2 hits instead of 1. Excellent. Endless Fury, excellent weapon. Nice. Judgment. A Storm Spear rocket pod only. That changes it to range 60, heavy 3, strength 8, -3, and D6 damage. So extra minus on the AP there. You can reroll failed hit rolls to this weapon. Excellent. Amazing. Really, really good. Sky Shield. Twin Icarus autocannon only. Sky Shield replaces that. Range 60, heavy 6, strength 7, -2, and 2 damage. Reroll failed hit rolls. Add 1 to all hit rolls against targets that could fly, and then -1 against other targets. That's the same, but more shots with that one. Better AP. Nice. Helm of the Nameless Warrior. Questoris Imperialis model only. Add 1 to the hit rolls made for the wearer's attacks in the fight phase. Nice. Usually a 3+ to hit. These are all excellent. These are all really good. Quest Imperialis, Questoris class model. Add 1 to the leadership characteristic of friendly Imperial units within 6 of the bearer. This is a banner of Macarius Triumphant. In addition, if the bearer is within range of an objective marker as specified in the mission, it controls that objective marker even if there are more enemy models within range of the same objective marker. If an enemy unit within range of the same objective marker has a similar ability, then the objective marker is controlled by the player who has the most models within range of it as normal. In this case, however, the bearer counts as 10 models. Okay, so a bit of help with that. The Traitor's Pyre model with a conflagration cannon only. Traitor's Pyre replaces the bearer's conflagration cannon, has the following profile: range 18, heavy 3d6, strength 7, AP -2, and 2 damage. It also hits on the target and you can reroll found wound rolls for this weapon. Wow. Really good. So this is a real selection here of excellent relics. They're brilliant, they really are good. Mark of the Omnis sign next. D6 at the start of your turn. On a 6, the bearer regains D3 lost wounds. On any other result, it regains 1 lost wound. Okay, so picking up a wound at a time, helpful. Helm Dominatus, Questa Mechanicus, whatever household Questa class, or Dominus class model only. Once per battle round, at the start of either your shooting phase or fight phase, you can choose a unit from your opponent's army that was within 24 inches of the bearer. At the end of the phase, add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made by whatever the household Armiger class models against that enemy unit, whilst within 6 inches of the bearer. Helpful. It's helpful, yeah. Call's Wrath, Questa Mechanicus model with a Plasma Decimator. This is the replacement, range 48, heavy 2d6, this is standard, strength 8 -4 and 2 damage. Incredible. Supercharge, heavy 2d6, strength 9, AP -4 and 3 damage. Choose your profile, any hit rolls of 1 is mortal wounds as usual. But very, very good weapon with the upgrades there. The Thunder of Voltoris, House Terran, with rapid fire battle cannon only. It becomes range 72, heavy 2d6, strength 9, -2 d3 damage. When determining how many shots this weapon has, roll 3d6, discard the lowest. Result. Okay. Mark of the Lance, House Griffith models only. Each time the bearer completes a charge move, choose an enemy unit within an inch of it and a d6. On a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 6, it suffers 3 mortal wounds instead. Okay. That's scary. Each time the bearer completes a charge move, enemy unit within an inch. Usually it's just going to be the one target, but yeah, so it's okay. Angel's Grace, Hawk Shroud only. Roll a d6 each time the bearer suffers a mortal wound in your opponent's psychic phase. On a 4+, the wound being rolled for is not lost. Cool. Yep. Hunter's Eye, House Cadmus. Enemy units do not receive the bonus to save throws of being in cover. Honor's Bite, House Morton. Models with the Reaper Chainsword. This is the replacement, +6 strength, AP -4 and 6 damage. Each wound of 6 inflicts d3 mortal wounds in addition to the normal damage. Good. Yeah, these are all good here. The banner in Violate, House Raven, Questoris class model only. Reroll hit rolls of 1 in the fight phase for House Raven models whilst within 6 inches of the bearer. That's a good one. Yeah, really good. It's fight phase only though. Fury of Mars, that's House Tyrannus with thermal cannon. Yep, it's range 48, heavy d6, strength 9, -4 d6 damage. Roll 2d6 for damage. I was going to say within half range. Roll 2d6 when inflicting damage to this weapon, discard the lowest. There's no range restriction here. So it's always choosing the best. And your range has gone up to 48 as well, so it's a big improvement on that one. The Headsman's Mark, House Crashed model only. Increase the damage characteristic of the bearer's weapons by 1 for attacks made against enemy units containing models with Warlord with a wounds characteristic of 10 or more. Increase the damage characteristic by 2 against Titanic units. Nice. And then Auric Mask, House of Volker model. Only the opposing player must roll an extra d6 when taking morale test for a unit within 12 inches of the bearer and use the highest result. So massive spread, loads and loads to choose from, and they're all, vast majority of these are all really good. So we now have Freeblade qualities and burdens, so there's like a bonus and a minus type thing going on here with this. We'll cover these here, and then once you've determined that, you then come over to here to see what the burden is as well. It's interesting the way they've worked this. So if your army's battle forged, then before the battle you can give one Freeblade model in each detachment qualities and burdens. So you can do it. So I'm guessing you don't have to, you can choose to do this. It doesn't say you must. If you do so, first either choose a single quality from the table below, or roll 2d6 to randomly generate 2 qualities from the table. Duplicate results have no effect. If your battle forged army includes Canis Rex, both Canis Rex and Hector have the legendary hero and last of their line qualities. So again, either 2 random ones or you can choose one. So last of their line, this is for the Freeblades here. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for the Freeblades attacks against units containing 10 or more models. Pretty good. And then Sworn to a Quest. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for the Freeblade when it targets the enemy warlord. If this Freeblade is within range of an objective marker, it controls that objective marker even if there are more enemy models on the same objective. If an enemy unit within range of the same objective marker has a similar ability, then the objective marker is controlled by the player who has the most models within range of it. That's normal. Mysterious Guardian. The Freeblade can perform heroic interventions if it were a character. It can do so if any enemy units within 6 of it at the end of the enemy's charge phase, and you can move up to 6 inches when doing so. So heroic interventions there. Peerless Warrior. When this quality is chosen or generated, roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, add 2 to the Freeblade's move. A 4 to 5, improve its weapon skill characteristic. So 3 plus becomes 2 plus weapon skill. On a 6, improve its ballistic skill to 2 plus. I'm getting the impression from these I would probably want to choose. So you know for sure what you're getting. Some of these aren't that amazing, so I'd probably just choose the one. Indomitable, add 1 to the Freeblade's wounds and leadership characteristic, that's number 5. It's okay, and a legendary hero. Once per battle you can reroll a single hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, charge roll, or save and throw for this Freeblade. So basically a free reroll there. So after determining the model's qualities, you must, so if you do go for that, you have to go for this one. You must then either choose 2 different burdens from the table below or roll a d6. So you could go 2 random ones here and then choose one from here, or choose one from here and do 2 random ones. You can mix them up that way. That's the impression I'm getting here. So you choose what you want to do. If your battle forged army includes Canis Rex, both Canis Rex and Sir Hector have the Obsessed with Vengeance burden. If a Freeblade from your army has any burdens, roll 2d6 for them at the start of each of your turns, subtracting 1 from the result of the Freeblade has the Exalted in Shame burden. If the result is less than the Freeblade's leadership characteristic, their burdens do not apply that turn. If the result equals or is higher than leadership, then the burden happens. And on average here, your leadership is 9, so that's a good leadership. You've got to roll quite high for this burden to kick in here. So the burdens are, number 1, Exiled in Shame. Whilst this burden applies, the Freeblade cannot be affected by any stratagems. Ouch. This includes using the command reroll stratagems to reroll dice for the Freeblade. Yeah, that's quite painful, that. That one, trying to avoid that one. Weary Machine Spirit. Whilst the burden applies, halve the number of wounds the Freeblade has remained for the purpose of determining what characteristics to use in the damage table. That's terrible. Whoa, some real minuses here. Haunted by Failure. Whilst the burden applies, reroll hit rolls of 6 for the Freeblade. Okay. Obsessed with Vengeance is next. Whilst the burden applies, the Freeblade can only target the nearest enemy unit that is visible to it in the shooting phase. It can only declare a charge against the nearest enemy unit in the charge phase. Quite restrictive. And driven to slaughter. Whilst this burden, but remember, it's quite unlikely you're gonna. This is going to activate here. Leadership 9 usually. Whilst this burden applies, the Freeblade cannot fall back, and its ballistic characteristic is changed to 6+. Oh. Okay, and then impetuous nature. Whilst this burden applies, every move that the Freeblade makes must take it closer to the nearest enemy model, and unless it is already within an inch of an enemy unit, it must declare a charge. Alright, so it's sort of a trait that sort of takes over like a bad habit almost, and they revert back to this. These are bad, so it's worth trying to avoid them. But thankfully the leadership values are quite high for these, so you'd need a high enough roll for those to kick in, but they're quite bad. I wouldn't want to randomise 2 of them. No, I'd try and choose the least one that's going to have the least impact. Difficult to choose though. But anyway, that's those. That's interesting for Freeblades then. It helps you give a bit of variety and a bit of built-in rules mechanisms for them as well. So it's not just saying I'm taking a Freeblade, you know, what's the difference? There are some differences there if you generate them here on the qualities and burdens. Interesting. And it puts a slightly different angle on your Freeblade Knight as well. So that's the points costs, and then your tactical objectives, 6 of those added in specific for the Imperial Knights as well. So there it is, that's the review for the Imperial Knights. So some great new options there, amazing new models, nice variety now. They've been out as a Codex for a while. There's been some variations on the Imperial Knight, but now Armiger Wargames being added in, and then this Knight Valiant as well, so loads of configurations and options available. Still some points reductions we've seen as well, which is helpful also, and then amazing stratagems and relics, excellent. So some fantastic improvements there for the Imperial Knights, really good. So I think this is a powerful codex here. As to how well Imperial Knights will do on the bigger scene against all the different factions and so on, we'll have to see. And look forward to the day on the channel when we see a pure Imperial Knights army. That'd be very cool. And again, I'd fight it just for a regular army, just to put the army to the test. But it'd be a real challenge. But a fascinating look to it. Pure Imperial Knight army just looks very, very cool. So there it is, that's the review. Leave your comments and feedback. If you already play Imperial Knights, what configurations do you have? What's your take on the Codex here now that you've seen all these bonuses? I think they're excellent. There's some fantastic things to add in there to your Imperial Knights force, some real bonuses there, some major weapon improvements, like some of those relics that we're looking at. Some massive improvements on those. And there's some very helpful stratagems as well. So I think it's all positive here for the Imperial Knights. It does look very good for them. So comments and feedback in the comment section below. It's a great resource for others to look through to see what advice there is out there. Perhaps there's people looking to collect Imperial Knights that don't have an army yet, and so looking for advice and guidance on that as well. But there it is, that's the review. As I said, Games Workshop very kindly sent me this copy along, so thanks to them. And then just to mention, I usually get my stuff, Games Workshop stuff, from gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop at a discounted rate, along with a load of other gaming systems as well. But that's the review for Imperial Knights. Keep a lookout for more Codex reviews on the channel. Thanks for watching, and tune in